现在全国上下的年轻人，哪个不想当志愿军？那要不然你回家去，我替你。
你就气死我吧。
郑瑞同志，我跟你一样，都是中国人民志愿军战士，我也有我的工作，哪儿需要我就去哪儿。你别整天把我当小孩。
你就是个小孩。
懂我帽子。
偷跑出来的吧？一定把咱妈给气坏了。
你也太小看咱妈了吧！我跟你说，咱妈通情达理的很，她亲自送我上的车呢。
嗯。
你还不信？你等着。你看，这是妈给你做的炒面，还有一双新棉鞋。
棉鞋？
嗯。
棉鞋好啊，就需要棉鞋。
我也有一双，妈给咱俩的鞋子上都绣了平安俩字。周长雪，快到你了！哎，来了，
过来，
快到你了！糖啊！
我马上要去执行侦察任务，下次见面还不知道什么时候呢。你给我听好了，战场上子弹不长眼，一定要给我时刻小心，不许受伤。嗯。
哥，你别那么严肃嘛。咱们都解放汉城了，敌人丢盔卸甲一路逃跑，全国人民都知道美帝要完了，咱们很快就胜利了。我先走了。
Sir, this is a telegram from General Ridgway. The 8th Army has retreated to Pyeongtaek, Ancheong, Jicheon, and Samchuk, near the 37th parallel. The headquarters is near Yaoju. The 8th Army has suffered little damage during the third offensive of the Chinese Communist Army.
Good. We need to conserve our strength.
General, there's one more thing. Now that Seoul has fallen, Washington is waiting for your response and explanation.
They want my explanation. I want their explanation. I told Bradley. I told Truman. I told them 1,000,000 times. We're not only up against North Korea. We're up against the Chinese as well. Those red flags. The Chinese communists are our real enemy. Maybe the fall of Seoul. Well, wake them up. Send my message to the White House.
Yes, sir!
General Marshall and I just received a telegram from General Ridgway. He doesn't think that our army suffered defeat in Korea. He says that the Chinese Communist Army have obvious shortcomings. Although he can't guarantee that we can restore freedom to the entirety of Korea, he thinks that we can hold fast to the peninsula and deliver a devastating blow.
Ridgway was a solid general on the European battlefield. He lost Seoul, but we can trust him. That's a point in his favor. I believe he has the military IQ for this fight. I propose that we send General Collins to Korea to let MacArthur and Ridgway know what the White House wants.
George, I hear you. Gentlemen, let's give Ridgway another chance.
所谓的朝鲜停火3人小组啊，向联大提交了关于达成朝鲜停火以及和平解决远东问题的5部方案。这是印度方面通报的材料。
只要联合国通过这个决议，美国就有可能利用停战保存实力，在南朝鲜保持若干地区，并武装日本，而谈判则可能无限期的拖延下去。因此，我的意见，如果联合国通过这个先停火后谈判的提案，中国将予以拒绝，并提出自己的主张。
我同意主席的意见。这个杜鲁门1月8号向国会提出，要将现役的兵力增至350万，每年要生产5万架飞机，3500辆坦克。 坚持群超战争，积极扩军备战。据我军委情报，蒋介石派何应钦去东京面见了麦克阿瑟，商谈着计划反攻大陆，准备动用20至25万兵力进攻厦门、山东，以配合朝鲜战场。
麦克阿瑟还在打蒋介石那些残兵败将的主意啊！陈毅同志是怎么考虑的？
目前，我31军全部集中于厦门，我就有3个军的兵力在福建，一分2批，随着增援厦门。另外，他们提出将24军由常州调往福建，同时提出可否派一部空军支援。
空军准备赴朝参战，不可能顾及华东，让陈毅在厦门和福建沿海积极布置防空。福建有4个军，我看防范已经够了。江浙2省沿海也要准备对付敌人进西，让24军在常州准备，不要去福建。华东各部队除了剿匪各部，均需加强整训，准备应付国民党的进攻。厦门要长期备战。
General Collins, I'm surprised to see you here today.
So am I. I didn't expect to see your HQ inside a tent.
A commander should be close to the front line and his soldiers. The gunfire keeps him sober. Just the 2 of us.
Yes, sir.
I saw General MacArthur yesterday in Tokyo. And he seemed very pessimistic regarding the war in Korea. Tell me the truth. How confident are you about the war?
I cannot be more confident. In fact, I think it's the right time to turn the situation around.
I believe in you. But in their eyes, you lost Seoul. You withdrew all the way to the 37th parallel. And
Walker failed because he didn't retreat south far enough.
What do you mean?
To defeat your enemy, you must know your enemy. I've been studying the Chinese Communist Army and have arrived at a conclusion. They are the strongest rival we've ever met.
Germany and Japan were defeated by us. They got no tanks, they got no planes. How are they supposed to fight a war? Just with the soldiers?
General MacArthur and the White House think the same thing. That's why we completely failed.
Then please, give me a lesson on Chinese army.
The Chinese lack equipment and technology, but instead of weapons, they rely on tactics and strategies. They prefer the V formation, cutting us off and encircling us with their troops.
We've heard of this.
But what amazes me is their ability to execute. Whatever the mission is, they can always somehow accomplish it. For example, in the last battle, our troops on the west line were trapped near Samsuri by one of their divisions that marched in one night over 70 kilometers. This is amazing speed.
I never heard about that. It was never in the dispatches.
Because you're too proud to learn about your enemy. Let me continue. Without heavy weapons, they marched light. But in Samsuri, we couldn't budge, though we bombed them to pieces. And in the final battle of Sunggufeng, our troops' morale was so low that our soldiers even refused to attack. They are the strongest enemy we have ever met.
How could they do that?
It's their will. The more I know about them, the more surprised I get. In the Chosin Reservoir, they hid in ambush for a week. When The temperature was lower than minus 30 degrees. Our soldiers can't possibly endure that. Not even a day, let alone a week. Therefore, I've concluded, we may have the strongest Navy and Air Force, but they have the strongest infantry.
How can you be so confident? How do you plan to defeat this Red Devil army?
Because I found their Achilles heel.
Where is it?
Listen, the Chinese Communist Army has launched 3 massive offensives since last October, and I've listed the beginning and end date of each one. Please, have a look.
These 3 attacks lasted about a week?
This is our secret, I believe.
You seem to be very observant. Do they go to church as well?
Of course not. However, in carrying out their strategy of penetration, their supplies can only last a week, not any longer. Once that week is over, they don't have any more advantages. You know, their fast mobility can be their strength. However, without supplies, they're nothing.
This is interesting. No matter how strong the will is, they still need food.
The Chinese Communist Army continues to advance south after taking Seoul. I've ordered our troops to retreat to exhaust them of their supplies. When their ammo and supplies are out, we'll do a counterattack. They will fall, despite their strong will.
Look, I understand your strategy, but this is all based on your assumptions. We cannot be sure that these 7-day attacks are not a coincidence.
That's right. However, today's the 7th day. I'm sure they're running out of supplies. I've prepared our troops for a massive counterattack. Because if everything is right, based on what I'm thinking, we can turn the situation around and end this war in only one stroke.